Hi everybody, Michelle. Really good to see you this morning. I wanted to take this opportunity to introduce you to our 2016 products that we introduced in Maison and Objet in Paris in January, in hopes that when you have these products here in your shop, you'll be able to sell them right away because you'll know about them so well. Okay, so let's get started.
今天讲的就是在2016年今年1月在巴黎的家具家饰展的一些新品。那这些东西我们还没有引进，那大家就可以先了解一下产品资讯。
Great. So we'll talk a little bit about the Maison and Objet Paris Fair. We have a concept this year for it that revolves very much around two things, around materiality and families.
他们这一次新品的重点有两个，一个就是着重在产品本身的材质这个部分，然后另外一个就是他们会去扩大原本的产品线的产品的种类，这两个重点。
And materialities specifically is the concept or the finish of iridescence that Tom wanted to discover and explore more new textures and new finishes to add to his collection.
OK， 那 Tom 他希望就是增加更多的材质，还有表面处理在他新品上面。那特别就是像左边看到这个红彩这个涂料的应用。
And families, because as you know, Tom Dixon is a relatively young brand, and we started off with quite a small collection, and so now we want to continue to grow each family so that we have them in different sizes and different colors for the convenience of the customers to mix and match.
那在每一个产品的系列里面，他们会增加不同的样式，可能更多的颜色，更多的一个材质的选择，那扩大客户的选择性。
So we'll start with accessories.
OK， 那现在讲一下 accessory。
We'll start with a plum cocktail set. So, as you know, in the last year we had first introduced the plum cocktail set with our champagne bucket and the ice bucket and the cocktail shaker. We now have extended this collection to include a cocktail set with martini glasses and wine coolers and alcohol shot glasses.
那这个 plum 我们曾经引进过，就是冰块夹，还有冰桶啊，然后香槟桶这些。那今年他们又推出了另外7个系列，有包括就马提尼的杯子，然后还有就是鸡尾酒杯，还有 shot 的这个量杯跟杯子啊，还有冰镇桶。
So as you know, Tom pretty much grew up in bars and clubs and members' lounges. So drinking is something that is very familiar to him in his young age, and so to be able to design new ways of drinking cocktails and designing Barwell for contemporary is something that he's always enjoyed.
因为 Tom 以前他在玩 band 的时候，他就是常会在 bar 啊、lounge 那些地方表演，所以他对于这种酒吧的文化他非常有兴趣，所以也希望可以做一些产品可以应用在这个环境中。
So as you see, we've got here martini glasses. We have Moscow mules, which is like a cocktail cup. We've got, this is a water jug here, the blue water jug. We've got this round little bowl. It's a bowl, so it's like a snack bowl for nuts and for chips and for biscuits and things. We've got these shot glasses, which come in a set of 4. And it also comes with an alcoholic measure, which has, the top part here is a measure for a double shot. And the bottom here is for single shot. And then we've got a double layer wine cooler as well.
这系列产品就是右边那个是马提尼的杯子，那左边那边就是鸡尾酒的杯，那他们还有一个水杯，那中间那个圆碗呢，就是那种可以放一些下酒的点心啊，什么小的 nut 或者是这种饼干那类的。那它是就是下面是重的，上面轻的，所以放在那边它不会倒，可是它会像有点这样不倒翁这样子，可以这样转，蛮特别的。那左边那个一系列是 shot 的组合，那中间那个是 shot 的2杯。那你在调酒的时候，下面那个是1份量的 shot， 上面是2份，那你就可以去做，就是方便 bar 调酒的一个作用。那边是那个冰镇桶，是双层设计。
Okay, they are all made in stainless steel. but it's copper plated with a lacquer finish, and the glass is a mouth blown hand cut glass.
OK， 那它这边它这个系列呢，它是就是红铜镀膜的，那它里面是由不锈钢的材质制成的，对，然后之后在外面再去做涂膜这样。
And the metal is made in India, and the glass is made in Poland.
OK， 那个玻璃是来自于波兰，那它这个金属是来自于印度。
Some design inspirations. Production techniques. We'll talk about the glass first. The water jug uses a case glass technique because the water jug actually has 3 layers. The middle layer is blue glass and the side layers are clear glass. So in order to achieve that, they've got to blow the glass 3 times to get a layer, the clear one and then the blue one and then the clear one first. And then the serving bowl is actually just one piece. It's a blue glass.
他们这边的玻璃就刚刚看到那个水杯，然后中间那个碗它都是蓝色的嘛。那水杯的部分它是用一个套色玻璃的这个制法，所以它就是说它在烧玻璃的时候，先中间可能是蓝色部分先完成，那等到它冷却之后，它再继续烧外面的不同颜色玻璃，就是白色部分，让它有不同颜色效果。那如果是那个bowl 那个碗的话，那就是单的蓝色这样。
And we'll talk about the production techniques for the metal part as well. All of these products are made with either a pressing or a spinning process. So pressing is like, for example, the plum tray. They basically take a mold and they press it down until they achieve the shape that they need. Whereas for the rest of them that have a diameter that's round, those are usually spun. So they take a sheet of stainless steel and using these molds here, they wrap it around the molds and they spin it until they get that shape, and then they weld it to close off that piece.
那这些金属容器的制法呢，它主要就2种，一种是就是它去压制，那它可能会有一个膜，然后它用不锈钢片，然后它用了膜之后就是一直压，让它成了一个像托盘这种的形状，比较扁平的。那剩下就是容器的部分，它的制法就是也是拿一个金属膜，然后呢用这种金属旋压的方式，然后在快速这种转动之外形成这种形状。那最后再用那个焊接的方式，然后把它形成现在你们看到的这种容器。
So just something to note about the wine cooler. The wine cooler is a double layer. You don't need to put ice in it or anything. It's an insulated piece. And so you just put your wine in there. And well, you guys have a lot of accessories, so you probably know that when it's a double layer, it helps to keep the bottle cool. So for us, we've tested it and we are able to keep our bottles cool in there for 1 hour.
那冰镇桶部分它是双层的设计，所以我们不用再放冰块放进去。那你就是一个冰的桶球放进去的话，那它可能他们测试过可能维持1个小时，可以让它保冰。
This is probably pretty good because, I think people can finish their wine before 1 hour, right?
对。
Okay, so we'll move on to the next thing. This is the hero product of Maison Objet in January. This is our new candle collection called Materialism, and we've got 2 kinds, 2 scents and 2 vessels. Just to let you guys know, this is a limited edition for now, and the reason is because we are going to be introducing 2 more new scents and 2 more new vessels in the September Maison and Objet, and at that time we're going to combine these 4 candles and they're going to become a set of 4. So the packaging is going to be different. But for now, we've introduced 2 first, so you are able to first have your customers enjoy them in their own different packaging.
这一次新品的重点呢，就是那个 oil 跟 quartz。那 quartz 是石英的意思。那这2个呢，他们都有推出不同新的香调。那现在这个产品就是比较限量，它限量只是说它包装的部分，现在都一个一个包装。那之后他们到今年9月的巴黎家饰展，他们会再推出另外2个香调，那就会变成像是 element， 我们不是有4个一样，那它这个也会变成4个的组合。
And for the oil, this is an inspiration of the iridescence theme, which Tom is going to continue to have throughout this year as his concept. It's a very mysterious color that he likes. it's impossible to describe the color of it. It's a little bit like spilled oil or soap bubbles or butterfly wings. And so it's, this kind of finish has been around for quite some time. It's been around for centuries, but it's just never really been used so much. So Tom was very interested in this kind of century-old glaze.
这种红彩颜色很特别，它就有点像是就是石油泼在水上面产生颜色，或者是有人说像蜻蜓的一个翅膀的颜色。那其实这个颜色，其实它这个涂料已经很久了，不是最近才有的一个东西，只是很少人会运用它在一些产品上面啊。那 Tom 对这个就觉得很有兴趣，那所以今年主题可能都会围绕在这个的红彩的颜色。
And for the quartz, it's inspired by gemstones, the quartz gemstone. So ours is made of glass, but it looks like quartz because it's a white translucent glass.
Quartz 这个它的灵感就来自于它本身就是石英这个矿物这样。那它只是就是他们是用玻璃制的，这两个都是用玻璃制成的。
So we'll just talk about how they're made and the collection. So these collection items, they have 4 different SKUs. It's the same as the Scent London Orientalist Royalty. There's a large candle, there's a medium candle, and then there's a reed diffuser. And then we've introduced a wax diffuser. And here are the burn times as well. It's exactly the same as the Scent Orientalist London one. The large candle is 60 hours, the medium is 40. The reed diffuser gives off scent for about 4 months, and then the wax diffuser 2 months.
Okay. 那他们这个 Oil 跟 Post 的系列，就像我们有那 Scent、Royal 啊、Oriental 等等那个系列一样，那都会有这4种的产品，那就是大的蜡烛、中的蜡烛，然后还会有扩香的部分，一个是那个芦苇的一个扩香，上面那个扩香棒，那另外一个这个 Wax 的是石蜡的扩香，那待会他会再做更多的说明。
Let me see. Okay, just to show you here. So this is the large one. It's got a glass cover, and then the medium doesn't. The medium doesn't have one. And then I wanted to just talk briefly about this. This is a wax diffuser. It's a new thing. So it's like a little scented wax. You can put it in small spaces like your drawer, your closets, maybe in your car, maybe in your bathroom, anywhere that gives off a scent. You can take it with you traveling if you want to put it in your luggage in a little bag. When the scent goes away, this wax will still be there. It just won't smell very strong anymore. Then you can, choose to take the wax out and use these little dishes for other uses.
那这个就是大蜡烛的话，它会有那个玻璃的盖子，那中的没有。那这个小的石蜡的扩香呢，它就是比较适合可以移动性，你可能可以放在行李箱里啊，可以放到车上这些，那就是比较适合小一点的空间，像柜子里也可以衣橱啊这些部分。那它就是持久刚好像是两个月嘛，对对。那它这个就是你用完的话，它那个石蜡还会在，只是它就不会再散发香味。那你可以把那个蜡清掉，因为它是玻璃的，蛮好清。那你就可以当一个小容器器皿，那你可以装一些小饰品啊什么的，可以继续利用。
The glass, same. It's made in Poland. The candle wax, it's also exactly the same as the Elements and the scented London candles. They're both all 50% natural soy wax and 50% paraffin mix. And the candle wax it's basically made in the UK.
那这个蜡烛跟香氛都是就是产自英国，那它这个玻璃是来自于波兰。那这个蜡烛的部分都是50%的这个大豆蜡，然后50%的石蜡。
And I think you guys are aware, but just in case you've got any candle lovers who are also, very environmentally friendly people and they want to know why our candles are not 100% natural soy wax, it's because natural soy wax tends to burn a lot quicker and the burn is not as consistent. So by adding in a paraffin wax, we're able to extend the amount of time it can burn for, and it burns slower and it burns more consistently.
有一些客人可能他们就比较诉求天然，他们问你说，哎，这个是不是就是纯天然蜡烛啊？那可是我们大概就是50%的大豆蜡，可是另外50%我们要加石蜡的原因是因为让它比较可以持久的燃烧，因为其实纯大豆蜡可能很快就烧尽。那为了让增加这个蜡烛的使用的时间，那我们就有增加50%的石蜡。
And also, when you're selling these candles, a good thing to tell the customers is that when they first use it, that they should just cut the wick a little bit, just to shorten it, so that the fire is not as big, and to burn it for 2 to 3 hours at the beginning, so that the hot wax covers the entire top of the candle, so that you can utilize it the best. Otherwise, if they just burn it for like 20 minutes, it's going to be right in the middle, and it's going to start going down like this, and you waste a lot of the wax on the sides by the wall.
那就是大家可能就是有销售蜡烛，大概也知道，就是它蜡烛刚开始使用的时候，因为那个它的烛蕊比较长，那我们最好就是让它剪短一点，因为不然太长的话，它的火会太旺。那再来就是第一次使用，大概让它燃烧2到3个小时，让它表面的这个蜡都可以完全融化。那这样你才不会烧，你可能只有烧到中间，那你凝固之后，下一次你可能都利用度就只有中间部分，旁边都会浪费掉。那再来就是说，那你可能在第二次燃烧的时候，上面可能有一点黑的那个部分，那也可以把它剪掉，这样在下次烧就不会有黑烟。
That's what I was going to say too.
Yeah, yesterday.
Some scent notes, because you don't have it here on display, so you don't know what it smells like. The oil is a bit more of a masculine scent. It uses cypress, guaiac wood, and styrax, which basically gives you this smoky, woody, cinnamony smell, very similar to the element's fire, actually, because the element's fire uses guaiac wood and styrax. But this one has that burning kind of smoky element, but combined with a sweet cinnamony smell.
那这是它2个 oil 跟 sports 的香味。那左边这个 oil 它的味道会比较像比较甜版的 fire， 它的味道这样，它是比较偏木质调的。
And then for the quartz, we use pink pepper, cypriol, and ambrette. This one is probably more accepted by our Southeast Asian countries. As we have seen at the fair, people tend to really like the oil container, but they really like the quartz smell because it's a lot more floral and it's got moss-like kind of fresh, leafy scent to it.
那 quartz 的香调它是加就是这个比较没有那么辣的那个粉红的胡椒，然后之后还有葵子，然后还有这个叫莎草，这些比较偏是那个花草香调。那这个可能在亚洲国家比较受到欢迎。那它味道会比较清新，那比较带有一些麝香这样子的味道，还有一点点辣。
It's kind of like the earth and the air mixed together, kind of like that.
Earth 跟 air 它混合的那种味道。
Yeah. Some design inspirations. Production techniques. Okay, pretty cool. The quartz one, the clear glass one, basically they blow the glass first, and then after that they take these hot little pebbles of molten glass and they stick it on the side of the glass, and then they just start pulling it and stretching it, so then it just kind of looks like the entire white glass is like melting. And obviously you'll see that there's a little bit of white spots. It's because we inject white glass into the hot molten air, so that when we're pulling it, then you'll see, oh, there's a little bit of white here, there's a little bit of white here as well.
See
if I can find you a good picture.
长条形，然后有这种一个形状嘛，线条的形状。那它的制成是，就是它在这个玻璃制作过程中，然后它对这样子，它加入了就是像鹅卵石大小白色的融化，就还没有完全成型熔岩中的那种玻璃，然后就把它不断加在这里面，然后之后再把它抽拉，那之后抽拉之后它。可能就会在部分地方有一些白色，那而且线条就会成为这种就是抽线流线型的线条。
And for the oil, it's also a blown glass, but they use a dirty iron mold to blow it. So the difference between a dirty mold and a clean mold is that for a clean mold, you might just blow the glass, and then the surface is very shiny and polished. But then when it's a dirty mold, they don't clean the residue of the glass that they used the mold before, so that it gives it like an uneven surface texture. So it's not as smooth. So that's a dirty iron mold technique.
在 Oil 跟 Quartz 他们呢都是口纯玻璃，那只是 Oil 它用的那个铁那个膜，它做完一个玻璃的时候，它不会去清那个膜，它就再做第二玻璃。那他们就称这个就是 clean mold， 就是说我清过了，然后 dirty mold 就是我没有清。那没有清会造成就是你做出来玻璃它表面会比较不平整，那就像大家看到那个 Oil 的外面，就是比较会有这种弯曲现象，不是光滑的表面。
And then furthermore, we also have a scissor cut technique. So when the glass vessel is still hot, they cut it so that it looks like the edges are melting.
那他们在这个玻璃还是热的时候，还没有完全冷却成型的时候，他们是用剪刀去剪它的这个表面切口，所以就会成为好像看起来有点像熔岩融化的那种表面，那其实是用剪出来的。
Okay, then we'll talk about the warp. The warp is also an iridescent sheen, decorative bowls to complement the theme. And they're basically vases and a large bowl and a small bowl made in a thick black glass.
这个 warp 它也是颜色也是像那样红彩的，也是玻璃制成，它是用黑玻璃。那它这个有做一些花瓶啊，还有一些器皿，大小的器皿。
And we also have oil. Oil is a very big vase, so it's about 45 centimeters high. It kind of looks like an umbrella stand, you know. And this one, we've used a clean mold to blow it so that it really accentuates and emphasizes the iridescent color that we have.
那 Oil 也有出这个花瓶，这个蛮大的，有点像伞桶这样子。那这个它就是用 clean mold， 就是你这个那个膜是有清理过，所以你可以看那个表面是比较光滑，你可以很清楚看到它颜色的一个纹路。
These are all made in Poland and the same supplier. And this is some images of them blowing the glass. And as you see, after they blow the glass, they're taking this little wooden tool, the stick, and they just keep pressing it while they're blowing it to achieve that unique freeform shape.
那这就是制作玻璃的一个照片。那中间你可能可以看到，它有拿一个算竹棒的东西。那它在可能继续在这个制作过程中，它可能会去压它。那就在你压的这个不同线条，它就会产生平伸的一个曲线这样子。
And then down here, you can see that they're cutting the hot molten glass while it's still hot, so then you can get that melting effect.
那它在这个还没有成型的时候，还是非常热的这个状态下，那它就是去剪裁它，去塑形。
And then finally, you'll see that it's being painted with a glaze that looks like it's just brown before it's baked, but after it comes out of the oven, it becomes that iridescent finish.
那这边就是刚刚那个红彩的颜色是涂料，是涂上去的。那它在玻璃制好的模型本来是咖啡色，然后你再涂上这个红彩的颜色之后，那他们会再去高温的去摇制成那个最后的玻璃。
So it's pretty cool because these are all pretty much handmade, so they are all going to be slightly different, and this is not considered a defect.
对，但是它这个系列就是高度手工制作，大家可以看到那个过程。那所以它其实每一个，因为你看这个形状可能就是刚刚用那个木棒去雕琢，会产生不同的一个作品，所以每个都会有些许的不同。
So that's iridescence items. We'll now move on to stone. We've also got some nice extensions for stone collection as well. First of all, on the left side, we've introduced some new candle holders, and on the right side, we've introduced a new serving platter to match with our chopping board and our cake stand.
那 Stone 的系列，他们今年增加了几种，像左边这边比较大的那种烛台，然后还有茶烛的小的烛台，而右边这边是它增加了一个就是盛物的一个盘，这样子，右下角那个。
So on the left side, these candles here, the marble is the same Morwad marble from India that you guys are familiar with our screw table, and the bottom is a brass plated steel.
那左边这个蜡烛，它上面大理石是来自于印度西部的一个 Morwad 大理石。那这个其实 Tom Dixon 他们很多像 screw table 啊，他们都是用这样的大理石。那下面这个呢，它就是黄铜电镀的一个金属。
And so for this medium candle holder here, it's kind of like our other candles. You can turn it around, so then you can use it on both sides as well.
中间的那个烛台，它是可以翻转的，你可以用在大理石上面，也可以翻转之后用在那个金属那个表面。
And this tall one, this floor one, is pretty cool. It's quite heavy because there's additional weight on the bottom to make sure it doesn't fall over. But it's very tall. It's 91 centimeters, so it's a pretty big floor candle that you can use next to armchairs or maybe in a corner.
这个大的烛台它就没有办法翻转，它很重，因为为了要确保下面那边不会重量不会太轻，他们有在下面金属部分增加重量。那它的高度可能大概100公分，然后你可能适合放在就是你这个扶手椅旁边啊，或者是一个边机的旁边。
And as for this serving board, this is the new serving board, pretty much the same as our stone chopping board and cake stand. This also uses white Morwad marble, and the middle here is also that natural brass plate that you can just remove. So you can clean this natural brass plate with metal polish if you want to keep it shiny. Whereas for this, it's brass plated steel and it's lacquered, so you can't clean it. You just let it, it's protected so it shouldn't oxidize ever.
右边那个的盛物盘，它是大理石，就上面那个圆盘金属的黄铜的，就像我们那个风波那个，就5个盘子堆起来的那个，那个东西是可以接触食物的。那它的处理方式跟左边那个不一样，是说左边那个它是有最后电镀之后上一层漆，所以其实上漆的这种材质，我们就没有办法再去清理它，因为你再怎么清理，去抛光好，你去做什么清理，你都其实清理到表层漆，你不会清理到下面的金属。那右边那个其实当它可能颜色经久使用之后产生大概咖啡色一些青苔绿苔那种东西，我们是可以再用抛光处理，再去继续清洁，让它变亮这样子。
Okay, and they're both made in India.
印度。
Some protection techniques for this marble, they carve out the marble and they turn it on these machines here so that they can get the shape. So different tools to make, little holes and to make it round and polished. So it's called a turning is the word for this technique.
这个是它这个大理石的制成。那当他们裁切成他们要一个大理石之后，他们会在这个转盘上就一直翻转，然后在翻转过程中再去塑形。那塑形之后，他们可能要钻出一个洞啊，烛台或者是一个凹陷的部分，都是靠右上角这样在翻转这种情形。
And then for the brass plated steel, basically it just shows you here that they have to, the way that they have to put it in an acid bath to plate it and to lacquer it.
那这就是刚那个镀黄铜的一个部分，金属部分。那右边那边它这个制成也是就是说金属大概悬压这样的方式制成的。
And then we'll move on to stationery. So as you guys know, stationery is quite a big part of Tom's accessories collection. He loves stationery. He just thinks that people should be using their hands to doodle instead of using computers and laptops and tablets all the time, which is why, he has a lot of new stationery coming out, and it will continue to be quite a strong part in our range. This season, we have introduced some mechanical pencils. This one right here. This one, and then this one down here are mechanical pencils. And then we also have 2 new keychains. We've got this one here. It's a container, so you can put stuff inside. And then this one is a very large key ring.
那 Tom 他就认为说，因为现在大家都比较常用电脑啊这种 电子的设备，那他觉得如果大家可以回到那种手写时代，那多用这些文具也很好，所以他就也产生了就是生产了蛮多的文具的一个产品。那今年他们有新出的 Cock 系列，就是上面那3个，之前是原子笔嘛，那现在出了3款的是铅笔，那再还有2个钥匙圈，就是右边那个，那右边那个是可以打开的，就是它里面可以装东西，可能装什么小糖果啊、小东西啊。然后左边那边那个钥匙圈是转开，那它其实蛮大，大概这样子。
Yeah, you don't have to tell people what you're putting in there, okay? Uh-oh. Okay, here we go. All right, great. So the pens, they're solid brass, and they're made in China.
那这个笔都是就是产自大陆，然后它这个都是实心的一个黄铜。
So you can see the difference because if you remember the Cog collection, the Cog stationery with the containers, and then we also have some candlesticks, those aren't a natural brass. Those are a brass-plated aluminum. So it's different, it's lacquered, it's more shiny, whereas you can see that for the natural brass, these pens and pencils, these are natural brass. So they're two separate things. For example, the pens and pencils, you can clean them because they're natural brass. For this brass-plated aluminum, you can't clean it because it's lacquered and it's brass-plated.
这外面这个就是这2种其实制成是不一样的。那中间这个就是烛台啊这些文具的一些东西，它都是铝镀黄铜，对，所以它是铝。那这外面这些它是就是黄铜，它是真的黄铜，实心黄铜部分。所以中间那些它镀了之后表面有做处理，那就是也是一样清洁的方式，可能我们就不能再去抛光。
Okay, and this should be easier for you guys because you know you just have to buy the leads and press it instead of looking for a refill for the pens.
铅笔可能就比较方便，因为大家可能使用就是你可以只要加笔芯就可以用，比起那还要去找那个原子笔的一些墨水。
And just like the rest of the cog, these are made by machines. They're 100% machine made, so based on the heritage of the British Industrial Revolution, a tribute to the beginning of mass manufacturing.
那 Cog 这个系列就是要向那个英国的工业机械时代致敬，所以呢，它这个系列产品都是全部是机器制作。
Then we'll move on to the tank. Tank, we have extended our collection of barware to include wine glasses and champagne glasses. So this is the champagne glass here. This is the wine glass.
Tank 的系列增加了2个产品，一个是红酒杯，然后还有左边那个是香槟杯。
They're all made the same way. They're mouth-blown glass with a copper paint. Except for it's not a copper paint because there's no copper in the paint. It's just a mixture of different metals, and gold is one of them. So sometimes they call it gold paint, sometimes they call it copper paint. But this mixture of metallic liquid looks like a copper paint.
那这个 tank 它这个的制成就是它是口吹玻璃，那中间那个红铜的颜色它不是真的红铜，它是上漆，那它只是他们可以叫红铜的涂料或者是金属的涂料，就是因为它是用各种金属混合，那成为这个涂料。那它里面有加一些黄金的部分，还有其他的金属，所以也称为黄金的涂料。
So, for the wine connoisseurs, they're very much used to the stiletto, glasses to drink their wine. It's quite a, professional field. Ours is not that way. This is a regular decorative champagne wine glass, which is more a tabletop accessory for decorative purposes. So obviously, like if you have customers that say, oh, but how is it going to make my wine smell whatever? I don't even know wines. Like when people smell wines, really this is it's a different thing from those bowls where you're supposed to put certain wines, and then it doesn't really matter. It's a regular wine glass. You can use it anywhere, and it's like a chunky, more Tom Dixon kind of feel.
对，就是这个红酒杯，大家可能对于红酒文化就是可能它就是细细的，然后大家要这样转啊，就是有一些特别的用法。可是它这个做就是除了这个把柄，它其实比较会像是一种装饰物，可能你装饰在桌上啊，然后很特别是一个 Tom Dixon 的一个东西。
Okay, some images of the production process is basically blown, and then here they're hand painting it, and it looks like this brown color, and then they bake it. After they bake it, it looks like it's a copper paint.
这个就是它生产的过程一些照片，那中间它就是去制作成这个玻璃之后，它左边就是手工再去涂绘它，那最后他们再去做这个烧制，然后冷却。
So because it's paint and it's baked, so it's quite, the paint is. Because it's baked, so it's okay, it's not going to come off. But then at the same time, when people clean it, they shouldn't be putting it in the dishwasher or scrubbing it, because over a period of time with wear and tear, the paint can come off if you use it quite heavily.
这个因为是土制的，所以其实在清洗的部分，然后还有在使用的时候，也不要太重的去使用它，因为这个涂料还是有可能会去剥落的。
And we'll move on to the 2015 collection in September that you guys have seen this, you guys have these products, but we've never really had a chat about it. So I'll also quickly run through the 2015 September products with you as well.
那现在他要讲的一些是去年9月的时候，巴黎家饰展的一些东西。那这些部分我们已经都引进来了，所以大家应该都对他们比较熟悉。像这第一个系列就是 Brew 的一个咖啡组。
And if you guys have any questions, you can it's very informal, you can just shout out. Yeah.
有什么问题现在也都可以随时提出。
So Brew's amazing. When we first introduced this collection, it was a very good seller for us. It basically just flew off the shelves. So we're really happy about this collection. You'll see, you guys know, it comes with a coffee tray, it comes with the stovetop coffee maker, the cafetiere, the plunger, a coffee scooper that goes in the coffee caddy, espresso cups, biscuit tins, milk pan.
那这个 Brew 的系列，他们推出的时候其实就蛮受好评的，大家都还蛮开心。他们就是现在就有一个咖啡组，那它有8种产品，大家应该都知道，就是中间那个它是滤压式的咖啡，那另外一个右边旁边那个它是就是放在炉上的那种滤压式，比较像摩卡壶，所以它是要煮的那种。然后它也会有咖啡粉的罐子啊，然后还有espresso 的杯子这些东西。
And it's made in China, but it's made with the same supplier that also makes stainless steel for brands like LSC, George Jensen, Bodum. So it's quite an established supplier with professional knowledge on stainless steel for household goods.
他们这个供应商是中国的供应商，那这个供应商它蛮专业，在制作一些不锈钢的产品，包括 Alessi 啊，还有 George Jensen， 那都是他们的客户。
And the material is actually, it's a stainless steel, but it's not copper. It's actually a PVD coating, which is a metallic coating. And we'll talk more about that later. I'll show you some images on how it's made.
它这个制作方式它不是用红铜的电镀，它是用 PVD 那种真空镀膜的方式，然后去上这个金属的。
These are just some key selling points, basically saying that for the espresso cups, they're double walled, so they're heat resistant. And for the stovetop and milk pan, the handles are plastic, but they are heat resistant. So even when you put the milk pan and the stovetop coffee maker over the fire, it's not going to melt the handle.
它这边要强调几个产品特色，像是espresso 的杯子，它就是双层的一个处理，所以它其实是可以保温的。那再来就是那个牛奶壶，它也是可以在炉上去煮的，所以它这边把手部分虽然是塑胶，可是它们是一个是防热隔热的塑料，所以就算你在火上，那也不会因为太热的话，就是会烫到这样子，而且是可以在炉上使用。
And the great thing about this is you can actually clean it, like you can actually put it in water. You can actually clean it like you would clean a regular plate because it's not copper, so it doesn't get affected by moisture. It won't moisturize, so you can clean it like you would with regular dishes.
那它这个外面那个表面它不是真的是红铜，所以其实而且它的制成是这个真空镀膜的制成，所以它是比较耐清洗，所以你也是可以放在洗碗机里面啊，你也是可以就是这样 随意的清洗，就是比较耐用。
Some design inspiration images. Tooling. So our tooling is actually protected by the manufacturer this time. We've designed our own tooling for this coffee set, which means that we would be happy to know there's not that many copies that can look exactly the same in the market now.
所以他们这个使用的模具是他们设计师自己设计，是有版权的，所以这个也会比较少有这个 copy 的版本在市场上出现。
Some manufacturing images, the stainless steel. And this is the milk pan. You'll see this is a milk pan that it was spun and it's pressed into its shape.
就是这是牛奶壶在这个压制啊、悬置的一个过程。
And this is the production process for PVD. It means physical vapor deposition, which is basically a gas, a mixture of metallic gases that they insert into this vacuum chamber, and it coats anything that you put inside it.
这个就是它PVD 这个制作的一个方式，它就是像这样子的一个真空箱。那其实它就是跟我们那个 copper shape 里面镀膜上面是一样的做法。那这个真空，那你把东西放进去之后，它就把空气吸光之后，然后再会去喷那个气体。那气体就是一些金属的一个料这样子，然后变成气体。那气体喷上去之后，它就在真空环境中，它就会吸附在你的这个容器上面。那这就是这样的 PVD。
And this sort of PVD process is actually very commonly used everywhere. I mean, it's like all our different Tom Dixon products. The manufacturing process that we use is a very common everyday engineering products that we see in products around us, but we just don't recognize it. I mean, PVD is used for all sorts of jewelry. It's used for your pots and pans. That's why you can put it on the fire. It's just basically like you mix different gases and they produce different colors. And that's what it is.
那其实 PVD 的一个制法，我们在日常生活中也常出现，就像一些珠宝首饰，它也用这种制法。然后还有我们最常见到一些锅具，那因为它可以在炉上使用，那所以它很多都是用这种镀膜的制法。
So this is the picture of inside the vacuum chamber. So you'll see that after like all the gases, the inside it's quite copperish.
那这就是那个真空的一个箱，那它刚外面那个孔就是它喷气体的一个方式，那里面就是他们的一个这个托盘。
It's pretty cool, right? Okay, so then we'll move to St. London. This is just to let you guys know, in case anybody has asked, and you've had, I think you have the snuffer, that we introduced this limited edition London brick collection in September, where we had this extra large St. London candle with a little plate, and we also had the brick diffusers and the snuffers.
这是它去年9月我们也有进来左边那个就是蜡烛的洗面盖，然后还有右边那个是就是跟 St. London 一样的一个香调，它只是做一个特别版的一个包装，然后在下面那边它是一个就是扩香。红砖系列的扩香。
Yeah, so this is really limited edition. So we don't really have much stock anymore. Like for the brick, we don't have any more stock. The snuffer, I think you guys have. And then this extra large London candle, we also still have some stock, but it was really just a limited thing.
这些是限量的，所以它们数量有限。像我们有进来这个蜡烛洗面盖，可是这个扩香就是我们现在就没货，所以没有机会进来。那右上角那个就是大型一点，然后的 St. London 的，那边还有一点库存。
Yeah. So then your Taichung store guys asked, oh, if they use the snuffer on candles, then is it going to turn black? Yes, it's going to turn black, but you can clean it. So it's, obviously it's a decorative piece, but you can also use it for candles at home. Everything is made with a function, so it shouldn't be a problem to use and clean.
但是蜡烛洗面盖让你就是去使用的时候一定会接触到火，那它还是会变黑。那可是就是可以清理的。
Okay. All right, so we'll move on since you don't have that. Some images of the production.
制作过程的状
and we'll move on to ink notebooks. Again, naturally, Tom had to design some of the notebooks as well to complement with his pens and his stationery, because now we really have a way to write and doodle on these books.
notebook 的话，就是 Tom 他也是针对他有出这个笔，他也就出了 notebook，然后去搭配这样子。
So these are all, there's a sketchbook, pocketbook, and a notebook, and these are gold foil wrapped with a gold edge.
那它这个有3款嘛，就是素描本啊，然后还有一些笔记本这部分，它中间都是空白的，没有横线的那种页面。那它旁边是这个金边的一个东西。
But it's not the end of ink. We're going to see more ink coming soon.
他们还会继续的发展更多的产品。
You know, and what's really good about the ink notebook is that when it opens, it can open flat, because, you know, when you're writing on it, some of the notebooks, they open like only until here, and then you're not able to wrap it around. So I think it's really important to note that it's functionally useful.
ink 它系列的笔记本它都是可以就是完全打开，它中间不会有一个部分是可能就是没有办法完全使用，有时候不是会有一些书你没有办法完全打开。那他们的设计是可以完全摊平打开，使用到每一个页面。
Okay, so these are just a number of pages on the different size notebooks. Design and inspiration tool. So tool, we have new collections every year. It's an ongoing thing. In September, we introduced Clip the Numbers, which is a really fun paper clip. And you'll see that the etching on each number is different.
兔系列他们9月的时候有推出这个 number 的系列，它每一个设计都是不一样的，然后就是那种夹页的小书夹。
And we also introduce new bookworms, new bookmarks every year. As you know, they are inspired by lost, forgotten objects in your books when you're reading and you leave stuff in there. So this last season we introduced Bookworm the Joker, which is a playing card.
书签的部分，他们有推出一个新的这个柜牌，大家都已经有进来这个东西。然后它书卷灵感就是你有时候会放一些有没有重要的东西夹在书里面啊，一些珍贵小东西这样，所以他们想要制作这个书签。
Some tool inspirations. And the process, you guys know how it's made. It's made exactly the same way as the etch shades and the etch web lights. It's a photo acid etching process.
他们这个书签的蚀刻方式就是数位雕蚀，都是跟 etch 这个灯具啊都是一样的。
Okay, now we'll move on to lighting. So, you know, as now we have 3 categories. We've got lighting, furniture, and accessories. Historically, we would introduce new accessories in Maison and Objet because it was a gift fair, and then we would have lighting and furniture in Milan because it's more like a furniture fair. But now, because these 3 categories are doing well for us, and we have found that it is better to display all 3 categories together in one go. It is a better brand storytelling for customers. They can understand the concept a lot more when we display all 3 categories together. So from now on, starting this year, you'll see that every fair, we're going to have new accessories, new furniture, new lighting every time. So basically it means we're going to have new collections coming out 3 times a year for all 3 categories.
过去那个 Tom Dixon 他们可能是在巴黎家饰展的时候，就是会去发表他们的一些decoration 啊 accessory 这部分。那在米兰展的时候，就是展一些家具，然后还有他们的灯。那从今年开始，他们每一年就是1月跟9月的巴黎展，然后还有4月米兰展，他们就会每一次都会推出灯具、家具还有 accessory 这3个系列，因为他们认为一次推出3种会让这个 collection 比较完整，那可以比较展现这个品牌的故事跟品牌的张力，让那个 idea 比较明确。
Okay, so We'll talk about stone because we have additional extensions, and this time for stone we have introduced lighting. Can you see? It looks better here. Great. We've got a stone table light, stone wall light, and pendant light.
Stone 系列他们的灯具有桌灯、壁灯跟吊灯。
And these are all made in China by a white marble. It's basically Chinese white marble.
他们大理石来自中国的白大理石。
And they don't come with light bulbs, so this might be an issue for you guys because we recommend this light to be used with the Mega Man brass crown LED because it matches very well with the detailing. But obviously, we'll just have to smuggle some light bulbs to you guys the next time I come, okay?
那这个它的灯泡之后，他们这种灯泡它都不会浮，就只有 cell 大家记得也是这种灯泡，就是外面是就是这个黄红颜色的。那这个部分就是它的 LED。那目前我们就是还在协商，那怎么样让大家可以取得这样子一个灯泡。
Oh, but just to let you know, in Japan, they also don't have the brass crown LED, so they're using the silver crown LED to display it instead. Well,
Mega Man.
Yeah, it's also for Mega Man.
Now it's discontinued for the silver.
It's not discontinued, it's just upgraded. So basically what light bulb companies do is they design something and then every 6 months they'll upgrade it and they'll make it better than the last one. So then they have to say the old one is discontinued, but actually they already have the newer one out, which is nicer and smaller. Yeah.
那其实它这个灯泡也不一定要用这款，然后只是这款可能是他们设计这样比较漂亮。其实我们别种规格只要是符合它这个规格的LED 的灯泡也是可以使用。那就是他是说也有日本他们也有用像是银色的表面这样，因为他们那边可能取得比较容易，那去展示这个灯具这样。
I mean, you can even use a clear bulb if you want to. It's just obviously not going to look very nice, right? And you'll see that for the wall light, it looks like there's kind of like a gap. This is bonded glass. So basically they've made the shade and then they have bonded glass is like glued glass. They've glued glass here to the back so that you can have reflections of the light in the back and in the front of the light. And that's the same for the table light as well. The bottom here is glass so you can see the light upwards and downwards.
壁灯跟桌灯的部分，他们都有再增加了一个玻璃在中间，所以这个是可以透光的。吊灯没有。
And for the it's one piece, so it's the entire piece of light is carved by one marble.
那吊灯这个部分就是整块是一个雕刻在一个正方体的一个大理石，整块雕成这个一体成型的样子。
So these are some production images. Basically, they take one block of white marble and they carve the entire light in that one block of marble, just so that you don't waste marble.
像右边这个，它就是刚刚那个吊灯，它中间那个柱子的部分就是圆形的，那剩下旁边的利用就是做成它旁边的圆盘，所以它整个利用到整个正方体来做成那个灯具。
As you are very familiar, there's color variation when it comes to marble. The Morwad marble comes off with, it looks very similar to the Morwad marble, but this one has more gray veins across it. So obviously some will have less, some will have more, and it's just a natural product itself.
它这个中国的大理石，它其实跟其他汤斯森别系列使用的那个印度的大理石，看起来其实会蛮像的，只是这个大理石它会比较多的纹路，所以有时候可能每一个灯具啊，每一个产品会些许会有一些外表上的不同。
And the packaging, we are slowly moving all our packaging into one box solutions so that it's retail ready. So the good part about this is that now these lights come in one box. You can actually sell them as a gift. It's going to have really nice packaging. But obviously, if you're asking for spare fittings or replacement fittings, then we would have to check to see whether we would still be able to provide that because we will no longer be selling fittings separately.
他们在今年新品之后，他们就要把包装以前可能有分就是2个嘛，对不对？一下要组合包，那他们现在会变成1个，然后他们就直接先安装好，然后所以你拿到可能就是一个完整的一个东西，所以跟别 比较方便，可以直接给客人这样。对，只是就是可能灯线的部分，有时候我们会再讨论啦，就是可能还没有办法单独贩售什么的，之后再讨论。
Okay, then for plane, we've got a new light. As you know, with plane, we've got the chandelier, we've got the small round triangles, we've got the tables and the wall. This January, we introduced the plane short pendant light.
饭的部分，他们今年就推出增加一个这个小型的一个吊灯。
So this is pretty good because it's a smaller size. It's a lot easier to use. There's 4 double layer glass shades with a brass plated, middle, which gives off very clean light, but it's smaller, so it's not as difficult to have to, sell like the big one that we had. Yeah.
Okay, 那它这个是由4个那个双层玻璃做成的一个这个灯的一个 shape， 然后这边的一个骨架是由就是黄铜电镀的一个钢做成的一个架，这样子骨架。
So then, like, some of the customers that we were having, that they saw this, they were kind of saying, oh, okay, but for feng shui purposes, this light has 4 bulbs, so maybe we won't be able to sell it. Not sure if that's the same for you guys, right? So we were slightly concerned because some of our Chinese customers were worried about, like, the number 4. So then, we were saying maybe you could buy 2 lights, then it becomes number 8.
就是因为它是4个，所以有时候大家不是重视风水，可能不喜欢4个，所以他们也有想过说，会不会在中国、台湾这些地方，是不是就大家会有这种介意这种事？那他就建议说，那不然就买2个，那就8个，对，就是吊起来，因为这也蛮小，那这样就变吉利的数字。
Yeah. Okay. And then for Bell, we also have new lighting. We now have the table light in brass-plated steel and in copper-plated steel as well.
那这个 Bell Light 桌灯，那原本我们有的是那个 wood 嘛，就是银色那个，那现在又推出了另外2个颜色，就是有红铜跟黄铜的部分。
So it only comes in the table for now. We don't have the floor yet. We'll have to see.
现在就只先推出桌灯的部分，有这2种选择颜色。
It's made in China. Brass. This is all steel. And then some production images.
产自中国的，那它这个也是一样，就是镀的电镀，然后它的这个是钢架。
So when we first introduced the bell in the silver color, I think the reception to it was a little bit lukewarm. Like it probably took us 1 year to get people really interested in the product. But then this time we introduced the brass and copper and people just started buying it right away. So
他们之前推出那个银的那个时候，就是那银色的那个，但其实反应还好，可能花了大概1年的时间，慢慢累积，大家才注意到它的好。然后之后他们推出另外2个颜色的时候，一推出大家就很喜欢，就大家反应都很好。
So we've got stock, guys. We've got all of this in stock, by the way. Okay, last but not least, I wanted to talk about furniture. As you know, we've got new wing-back chair from last year now, and we've been able to extend more, more varieties for it, such as now we've got them in like a leather, and we've got wingback dining chair. Well, this year we have introduced the wingback with an additional leg, and now it comes with oak legs as well. Yeah.
Wingback 就是在去年的时候，他们就是现在是产自波兰嘛，以前是英国，那就是换了一个，就是重新推出 wingback。那之前我们最早是用黑色的木角，然后之后换成红铜，然后今年他们推出就是浅橡木的一个椅脚。然后还有皮的，刚刚也有解释一些皮的一个选择。
Yeah, so I've got a sample of the leather, but I only have one, so I'm sorry I can't keep it here. But just to let you guys know, the leather one for the wingback chair and the wingback dining chair, it's they use Elmo soft leather, which is a really nice aniline leather. So you guys can just pass that around and have a feel, just so you have an idea of, when you sell the wingback chairs in leather, this is what it's going to be like.
这个是他们 们使用的这个皮，半本染的皮。那他们这个部分，因为他现在还没有拿到更多的 sample， 之后有的话我们会提供给大家。
Yeah.
对，那就是用这一款，然后有不同颜色的胸。那这只用在wing band。
Yeah, and do you like the photography? It was the creative team in the UK, they found an abandoned house in the countryside, abandoned mansion in the countryside. So they moved all our new products over there to do the photo shoot for the new products.
这系列他们的照片都还蛮酷，他们是找到一个在就是偏远地带一些就是废弃的屋子，然后他们就把东西都移到那边去照，所以就可以照出这种蛮特别的一个照片。
And that's it, guys. Thanks very much.
大家对于这个新品有什么问题吗？
去年造的东西大家都看过，目前都还没有什么问题，就是像他们画的都还好。
Okay, cool. Great.
Milan something.
Really?
Yeah, we just quick.
Oh, okay.
Is it on your
Yeah, it's in my computer. It's really quick. I'll do it.
Okay. 那它
Oh, how exciting! Okay.
就是米兰展的新品，然后让大家大概看一下。
Because originally I showed the Taichung store, but then Jasmine was like, I don't think we'll have time for the Taipei store. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I guess we can't show them. But then if I show the team, then that means that you guys will have all seen it before Milei has seen it,
Yeah.
right?
但我们
Okay.
是第一手看到，米类还没看到，就是要幸运，因为他不在。
I think we should do like a competition so that like, you know, whichever salespeople, like top 3 salespeople that sell Tom Dixon really well should go to Milan with Milei.
Wow.
And Milei should pay for it. Okay. Oh, whoops.
他们今年米兰的会场，因为 Tom Dixon 都蛮喜欢在一些特别的地方，然后去呈现他的新品。所以他们今年是在一个会外，然后一个就是现在是儿童博物馆，以前是一个教堂，就旧有教堂，然后他们在那边就是他们主题是餐厅，然后这样子的一个主题，然后去做他们新品呈现，所以他们是真的在那边就是有端食有做食物，然后就是呈现这样。 Okay, just have.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So, as you guys know, for Tom Dixon, we don't usually display at the main hall for Milan because Tom really hates that place. He just thinks it's so big and people get really tired and there's just too much and it's very businessy. So he never wants to be in the main hall and he always tries to find really cool, interesting places in the middle of the city to show his products.
就是 Tom 他比较不喜欢就是在死板的那个会场去呈现他的东西，他觉得有点无聊，所以他们每一年都会找一些新的一个想法。
So as you know, in 2002, we were in the Museum of Science and Technology. Last year, we were in an abandoned cinema. Then this year, we're going to be the restaurant.
之前2016年的时候，他们是在科学博物馆，然后就去年是在一个废弃的一个算是戏院，然后今年呢，他们就是在一个呈现一个餐厅这样子一个主题。
So we're actually going to be collaborating with an Israeli kitchens stone company called Caesar Stone. And Caesar Stone and Tom Dixon has actually collaborated before where Tom designed 4 kitchens for the Caesar Stone brand.
他们这次跟就是一个以色列的一个公司叫 Caesar Stone，那他们 们之前在Tom 他们伦敦的一个餐厅就应该合作过，帮他们去设计他的厨具这样子。所以这一次他们也有合作，他们在那边会有新的一个厨具相关的设计。
So it's pretty cool. This year, what we're going to do is we're going to be located in the Children's Museum in Milan, which is about 15 minutes away from the Duomo.
这就是刚刚讲的那个儿童博物馆，它之前是教堂。
Yeah, so in the Children's Museum, they've got at the front of the Children's Museum, they've got this church. It's a 17th century church, old church that now is being used for exhibitions for the Children's Museum. And we're going to take over that space for that week.
就是在这个儿童博物馆前面，它这边有一个这个教堂，然后这个教堂它比较会被就是可能儿童博物馆要使用一些特展啊，就会展示在这个空间。
And what we're going to do, because it's in the shape of a cross, is we're going to have 4 restaurants and we're going to have 4 kitchens. So the kitchens are going to be designed by Caesar Stone and the restaurant is going to be designed by Tom Dixon.
那么在这个空间会有这个4个 element 的一个主题，那4个部分就会有不同的餐厅。那这个餐厅的厨房部分是由 Caesar Stone 来设计，那餐厅的部分是由 Tom Dixon 设计。
So it's pretty cool. There's 4 kitchens in different elements, the medieval elements, air, fire, water, and earth, and there's like 20 seats per restaurant. Yeah.
每一个餐厅大概有20个座位，然后他们真的就是像在让餐厅一样，会去推出他们的食物这样子。
And we've invited a Italian chef to help us design the menu for this pop-up restaurant for the 4 elements.
那他们的主厨是他们在伦敦就合作一个意大利主厨，会帮他们设计菜单。
And to make things really complicated, Tom said that because each course is different in each restaurant, so you're supposed to eat 1 course in 1 restaurant, and then you have to move to the next restaurant to eat that course. So you can only eat those courses in that 1 restaurant. So you have to move around if you want to try different things. Yeah.
所以在不同的餐厅，它可能就会上不同的菜色，所以可能就第1道、第2道、第3道，那你就要走第一间是试前菜，然后到那边主餐，然后这样子就是试完4种风格的一个菜色。哦，倒掉。
Okay, there we go. And in the middle, this is where we're going to display our Tom Dixon new collection in the main hall. So this place is gigantic, right? Like last year in the cinema, we had a party and we invited like 200-300 people. This year, we're going to have a party together with Caesar Stone and there's going to be 3,000 people. It's going to be in this space.
它这个场地非常的大，可以容纳3000人嘛，所以他们这次会办一个 party， 可以让3000人来参加 party， 很夸张。然后他们这个场地的中间，就这个展示就可以展示他们的行李，大概在这个后的中间这样。
Yeah, so this is just some images of the space, how it's going to look like. Yeah.
大概会是像呈现的这个方式。
Yeah, and that's the restaurant. Exciting.
大家还有没有什么问题？如果没有的话，我们就谢谢米秀今天帮我们做教育。
Thanks, guys. Thanks.